Good evening everyone, and welcome to our latest online edition of Poetryspective, number 72. We're just starting a bit of a new format. Now we're fortunate enough to be back in our live venue at Pride of Our Footscray. We're going to revert to a monthly format for the online show that we've been doing throughout COVID fortnightly. You're going to see a few changes. So we're still taking submitted videos, which you're going to see some of tonight. And we're going to also be featuring some of the open mic live performances from the recent shows at Pride of Our Footscray Community Bar. So slight change there. You'll also maybe notice that we've got a new presenter, a new MC. So for these monthly shows, I'm going to be MCing to give Lish a bit of a break. She's going to continue MCing the live shows. So that's going to be just to give you a bit of a break up, seeing some different faces. Just as usual, thanks to Lish for all the great work she does with the show, organising the features, and there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes. Quite incredible. I guess people who've organised poetry events and other live shows will understand how much work there is involved. So yeah, thanks Lish. We will be having some features, and tonight we've got an international feature. This is going to be, I think, a bit of a recurring theme. We're probably going to be looking to get our features for the online show from outside of Melbourne and Victoria, so we can get some people who are not able to visit Pride of Our Footscray in person. So tonight we've got, from the United States of America, Sam Ferrante. So there's something to look forward to. Well, that's probably enough from me. Let's get on with the open section.
Hi Lish, hi Colin, hi everyone, thank you for having me again. I've one very short piece, and it is called An Ode to the Venus de Milo Tin. Upon the opening of every tin, she is there, the goddess, ever smiling. Upon the piercing of the shining foil, the roll back to reveal the precious grain, she is there, the gracious goddess, granting her gifts of plenty in a golden grail. And is she not there also when the lovers toast each the other on the dawn of marriage? They raise the steaming cupfuls on the cusp of their new life and taste her sacred brew. Yes, she is there, our Lady of the Barley, most athletic goddess at our hearths, and she is there too upon the long, cool evenings when solitary, silent worshippers heap up their household cup brimful with grain, and raise a solemn song of praise to her who holds dominion over tin and cup. Thank you very much.
This poem is written by Lauren Williams from her gorgeous book, Invisible Tattoos, published in the year 2000, and it is called 2 Months Without a Poem, I Go to a Reading. The poets are singing about the moon again, bringing in strings of stars. The sun like a big umpapa, water in all its octaves. Ocean, river, puddle, tear. They're going on about angels, leaves, birds, all things that fly and fall, drugged with beauty like old users bringing back old highs. They can't stop talking about it. They wave from the battlements of dream, forgotten flags, brave banners, tram tickets, clouds of moments perfectly caught, scintillate in their mouths, trail their pens as they orchestrate crescendos of diminuendos, of lifted skirts and lowered lids, solos and scores, symphonies of hope, timpanis of doom, the clash of cymbals, blind mirrors, well-dressed poverty, the machinery of magic, and above all, below all, love. Like an endless drone chord from the harp of a sky crowded with miracle fingers. They go on, these poets, hauling up psychedelic cordial from some bottomless well of inspiration, singing at their work. Drink, they say, and jig and reel on their way. This poem is one of my own, and I wrote it for Ez Fung, my dear friend, during lockdown this year, and it's called My Tongue. My tongue is striated muscle arched to the teeth, protection from words that would drown me. Dorsal mucosal surface of stratified squamous epithelium. My tongue is palpae and taste buds fizzing at the tip. My tongue, a voluntary muscular structure directing my voice to speak, a broken hinge singing the melodies of a crying earth, an instrument keeping my voice box in check. I raise it to the roof. A whale in the mouth, a waterfall of languages dressed as poetry. My tongue is a traveller.
This is a poem I wrote during lockdown. I normally perform this with a jazz backing by the Mr. Cameron Logan, but this time I'm going to do it a cappella.
Nice.
It's called The Limp. A camel coat wrapped around him like a bad smell. He walked in an old Jim's bar, one leg longer than the other, mouth busy tickling a cigarette that held on to dear life. I watched him take a seat by the end near the juke and fumble for a quarter, muttering to himself about the boogie-woogie racket and his dirty twitching lips making that dark dance inside its own smoke rings. What'll it be? Old Jim asked, polishing a glass tulip with a rose-colored towel. Old Jim's kind of sane around these parts. You see, he's quick with a light and slow on the pour. He's good on a Tuesday, but bad with jokes. Jim could never take a joke. The man with the camel coat muttered something under his breath, and as the juke's din wound down, filled the harsh silence with an even harsher clatter of coin. The hell you say? Now, Jim was none too pleased. Regardless, he turned his back to the bar and began grabbing bottles, seemingly at random. When he came back, he was holding a tropical nightmare, all radiation orange and carnation pink, complete with a tiny umbrella that had seen brighter days, but now opened with a strained that sent dust flying every which way. Jim slid this with a sneer toward the limp in the camel coat. The limp took a sip and licked his dirty lips. I think he enjoyed that drink. You see his bloodshot eyes rolled back into his head with a flutter, and he let out a dirty sigh. Oh, that's the way, Jim. That's the way. That's the way we used to have them, he was heard to say. Now I know the good Lord made us all in his likeness, but with enough difference to be able to tell us apart on Judgment Day. But he must have run out of ideas when he made the limp. Because I ain't never seen a man who calls himself a man wear a dress, or cry, or drink anything that ain't brown. Exactly as I ain't never seen a cat bark, heard a cat bark, or saw a fish drown. But here I was at old Jim's bar seeing exactly that. The limp took a sip of the pretty drink. Now I ain't saying it's wrong, and I ain't saying it's right, but the longer I watched the limp take a sip of that pretty drink with his dirty lips that held a straw in his grips, all wrapped up in that camel coat tied tight around his hips, all long and flowing like a waterfall of the sleepy sails in an old-fashioned ship, the more I needed to know what was in that pretty drink. The more I couldn't think, the more my heart would rise and sink, and at the end of Jim's bar sat the limp. Sip sipping that drink in his tight camel coat set, the limp. His drink looks sweet, like a sunset or a first kiss, a brand new car or winning a war. That thing looked sweet, that thing looked pure, that thing looked like a rocket exploding in orbit, all fire and smoke blooming in the sky rose, its orange petals falling down, 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 down amidst a kaleidoscope of chaos. A whole season in the blink of an eye, ending, 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 and the nations cry when we fall to pierce the sky. Oh, I wonder why the lip sipped that drink, what made him sigh, and was this what gave him kicks? From his dainty fingers to his dirty twitching lips that sucked on the straw that ran down, 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 the down, the down, the down, the down, the down, past the hill, past the edge of common decency, and into the arms of depravity. And I, with the good Lord's eye, watching me, watching him, watching the limp in his camel coat, his dirty lips and girlish fingertips as his tropical beach ran dry. And now, he leaves just as he came. A dancing dart and a dirty sigh. Out in the traffic of another endless night. You're dry, old Jim said. What'll it be? Just another rye. I sighed. Just another rye.
Maybe all this is happening in some lab, under one lamp by day and billions by night. Maybe we're experimental generations, poured from one vial to the next, shaken in test tubes, not scrutinised by eyes alone, each of us separately plucked up by tweezers in the end. Or maybe it's more like this, no interference. The changes occur on their own, according to plan. The graph's needle slowly etches its predictable zigzag. Maybe, thus far, we aren't of much interest. The control monitors aren't usually plugged in, only for wars, preferably large ones, for the odd ascent above our clump of earth, for major migrations from point A to B. Maybe just the opposite. They've got a taste for trivia up there. Look, on the big screen, a little girl is sewing a button on her sleeve. The radar shrieks. The staff comes at a run. What a darling little being, with its tiny heart beating inside it. How sweet its solemn threading of the needle. Someone cries, enraptured, "Get the boss! Tell him, he's got to see this for himself." Thank you.
This is about consent. You keep moving the goalposts. How are we supposed to know? You're acting all insulted, like I've dealt you a blow. She took my remark okay, maybe as a compliment? It may vary for different people. This is about consent. But I didn't mean to cause offence, it's just friendly fun. Women these days are so uptight, complaining to everyone. Why do you dress like that if I'm not allowed to comment? I dress however I choose to dress. This is about consent. I thought we had a connection. Why are you freaking out? We've texted back and forth a bit. I didn't have a doubt. We were getting on so well, I thought you'd like what I sent. I didn't ask for your dick pic, buddy. This is about consent. I just can't keep up these days with what is and isn't allowed. You're a very attractive girl. You really should be proud. I thought you'd like the attention. Honestly, no harm meant. Don't call me girl, you prick. This is about consent. I was just playing. I don't know the rules anymore. I can't do anything. Am I not allowed to hold open a door? I wonder where the good old days of harmless fun went. You touched my bum as I went by. This is about consent. When I did this last time, you didn't seem to mind, but now you're being cold to me, which is really unkind. Your rejection makes me sad. I was being such a gent. That was then, and this is now. This is about consent. I really thought you'd realise when I took the condom off. You were groaning with pleasure. Now you look at me and scoff. Why are you being so angry? Do you just need to vent? You should have made sure I knew. This is about consent. You looked so cute asleep like that. You let me do it before. You didn't exactly fight it. I thought you wanted more. Now you reckon I crossed a line after the previous times we've spent? I was literally passed out drunk. This is about consent. If I wasn't allowed to touch you, why did you dance with me? You were being so flirty. I thought you were free. Now when I make advances, you're refusing to relent. Get your hand off my arm. This is about consent. You said you were on Tinder, so I thought you were DTF. I said I'd cook you a meal because I'm a really good chef, but now you say you don't want to do it. You seemed pretty content. Content with the meal. I don't owe you sex. This is about consent. Is this your daughter, is it? I thought she was all right. Sometimes it happens with little kids. She got a bit of a fright. But now it seems she's very upset. Out of shape she must have bent. You know what you did, you scumbag. This is about consent. She didn't say anything at the time. This comes as a surprise. I thought she was consenting. What she's saying now is lies. The way I remember it is quite a different event. I didn't feel I could speak up at the time. This is about consent. Each occasion, each individual, each situation, each one is an original. It's a case-by-case thing, and it's not just about intent. It's about the other person. This is about consent.
It's a poem called Always at the Cafe. The faces constantly change. Some graduate and become professionals, real estate brokers, tattoo artists, cold callers from anonymous numbers, a sex worker, a funeral director, stable jobs. People are dying. We avoid thinking about it. Bystanding at the cemetery is too real. We'd rather watch death on a device. Via Netflix, you can shut out tears, maintain control. Wide Open Road has changed a lot of faces, but my typing spot is still here. She is new to me. Her eyes are kind. I want to stare and say thanks for genuinely caring. Her voice is absent the dissonance of hospitality speak. Just met you today, and I'm already grieving because you too will leave. Another road in like no time. In a blink, will whisk your frost blue locks to another current shore. Your smile is an antidote to dwelling on death. This place, coffee sanctuary, has somehow kept wholesome, whole being sure through 3056 changes. I have 2 daughters now. I too have changed. Just like the faces at the cafe. I hope they grow up to care like you. If they ever serve a crying man with keys as broken as his heart, sitting alone at the bar, at the cafe.
This first one is called X by Mary Pauline. X obeys algebraic laws, but resists particularity. It's the placeholder of uncertainty, like the notion of God. A variable, a kiss, a chromosome. X signs legal documents in 2 concise strokes. It could be me, you, or the number of poppies we planted out back by the fence last Sunday. After so many days of rain, the afternoon was sunlit, translucent, perfect as an integer. This next one's mine, accepting a job offer. It's an odd feeling, returning to work, ending the search, and the need to scan the web for jobs instead of cats. Moving to a full diary and Let's Talk Thursday. Slowing the Scrabble to pay bills. There is fear and resentment mixed with excitement of the new. More data, new people, other people's problems, which is far easier than dealing with your own. Do I still have what it takes? Have I got the goods? Does my suit still fit? Can I be bothered making a cut lunch? Do I still have the right mix of polite and mongrel to give banking a go? Will anyone notice? Will anyone care? Will I remember you can't change the channel on Zoom? Will I break down and cry because it's all too hard, too much, too dull? Get up and go because I forget that afternoon beers and a nap in the shade is now for other people. Will I work on their problems before I return to my own as a treat to be savoured? Okay. This one's from Rachel Briggs. The Unravelling Scarf as a Model of Time. Suppose you spill lime soda down the pulsatronic nebulizer of the TARDIS and it jams the ultrasonic harmonizer. Or suppose your friend, in a fit of irrational pique, disables the memory on your emotional storage device so that all the harpsichord songs of history are overwritten by 10 million copies of Michael Stipe singing Everybody Hurts. Or suppose some hypothetical person were to lose the only key to the heirloom chest where you keep the flashlight that shines backward through yesterday, illuminating the corridor of time. What happens to the past in that instance? Is it gummed forever up by sugar gone rotten? Is it overwritten, spooled away on a string of zeros and ones? Or do the oil paintings remain, pinned to the walls in the empty hallway, their pigments glowing red and gold beneath the drop cloths, amidst the dust in the dark? Thank you.
Somewhere on Your Street by MAXINE, BENEBA, CLARKE. Somewhere on your street there is a mother who kept her children home from school Tuesday of last week. He couldn't scratch the $1.50 each to send with them to the store, who paid a day of education to erase their shame, who saved them from comparing empty hands with flowered flannels, embossed lavender soap and silver photo frames. Somewhere in your city there are children holding handmade cards, collages cut from Kmart, junk mail catalogues, who want to give her the world and are too young to understand the unconditional nature of a mother's love. Somewhere in your neighbourhood is a woman who for 10 days has been hiding the last 3 eggs at the back of a barely working fridge. Tomorrow morning she will use French toast and sugar sprinkles to sticky the apologies from her son's eyes, trim mould from the edges of a begged baker, cast off bread and say, "It really doesn't matter, all I need is a smile." In a damp terrace house just across the motorway is a woman who can't shake the cold she's had for 19 days, who will wake up anyway, frozen toad from lack of autumn heat, let her daughter snuggle in her bed, beat back the chesty hack to re-energise Dr. Zeus. There is a woman right across the road from you, so consumed by landlord's letters, empty shelves, shadows beneath her daughter's eyes, the blind trust in every infant gaze. She will not even notice tomorrow is Mother's Day.
Before I had a baby, I went to university. Every Monday I sat for 4 hours in the main lecture hall, peeling the plastic off tables. Sometimes I slept. Yet to develop sensitive teeth, I ate a lot of candy with my feet up and my shoes off. One of the students used to bring her baby. One day the baby cried a bit. It wasn't that bad. I wasn't personally bothered. I was more worried about all the mints I accidentally sent bouncing down the aisle. But finally, another student, also a mother, told her off. "You should have booked childcare. It's not that hard." Other students, some of them also mothers, chimed in to berate her. They all ganged up. The lecturer just waited for everyone to shut up. This single mother with a baby, she totally lost it. She burst into tears. She called us all bitches and stormed out. I said nothing. Being a witness to that was the real education. I wish I had stuck up for her.
So this is from a short play of mine. This is an alien called Volta takes on the role of a pirate.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. And it's a song. The pirate trades a dubious one at best. The pirate's trades a dubious one at best. And depths on your head shall put your character to the test. We pirates crave our independence more than most. But with debts or no good parenting, we cannot boast. The pirate trades a dubious one at best. Arr, arr. Yeah. And debts on your head shall put your character to the test, matey. With debts on your head, can't see no beauty in jewellery, no joy in pillaging or other kinds of piracy. It all comes down to how much money and rum 'twill buy. Even on top of a dead man's chest, all I can do is sigh. Oh. The pirate's trade's a dubious one at best, me hearties. And debts on your head shall put your character to the test. Ahoy! It's to settle a score between me and a pirate of infamy. Can't hardly pay off the interest, though I reap a lot from piracy. We pirates, we ain't known for our longevity, and I want to leave me children with a debt-free legacy. The pirate trade's a dubious one at best. Shiver me timbers! And debts on your head shall put your character to the test. Heave ho! Hey,
oh, so much love. I love this. So this is my long time being from performing and stuff. So I'm going to make it short and quick. The first poem I'm going to read out is called Still Learning. and it's all about learning how to love yourself. Yeah, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep shit. Alright, so in a world full of adventure, all around me is bewilderment. It's overwhelming, honest, and I'm trying to capture every moment, like a photograph with my mind skipping pages and a heart so hollow like a sculpture. Some look up to me and others look down. Only the night can hear my deepest pleas of mercy, for I'm doing the best I can. I wish to be understood as a fragile, imperfect human. I look over at the chips and cracks, trying hard to be proud of my rusted crown. I make mistakes, and for that, with a heavy heart, I am sorry. I've hurt the people I love. I've lost some for my wrongs when my intentions was to place you highest of the above. It isn't fucking easy trying to be the best version of me. For those who hold patience, I offer my greatest gratitude. With the earthquakes and hurricanes, it's not easy to remain grounded. Gravity has a spell on me that sometimes it crumbles my body, and others it's left me abandoned, forced to hold my pieces together under the force of the shifting altitude. Being on your own is hard as hell. Sure, I'm being told I'm loved and adored, but when push comes to shove, my messages remain ignored. All I've got is my shadow to cry with chains wrapped around my neck that grows tighter with every story I tell. Nobody wants to know who I really am, what I'm capable of, what passions fills my heart with love, what is beneath the surface of my gram. Nobody knows a damn thing about me, really. I never like to admit my deepest emotions. I've got too much pride to reveal the raw tunes to my energetic motions. I'm grown content with being lonely. Each day is brand new. I tell myself each night, prepare for a change. Don't give in to the deranged, although it appears to be very strange. As hard as it is, I try every day to speak my truth. Nobody wishes to treat me right. In order to is a struggle and a fight. I question my worth as I sit in the darkest of nights. I cry when what my soul bleeds upon a pillow. The very only thing that listens with no judgment, so fucking tight. Fuck you to those who destroyed my inner child. The first half of your life, you lose your identity to fit in. The other half, you try to rewind yourself back to the very beginning. I'm learning to flourish my soul so wild. I'm sorry to my past and present self for not accepting you with a full heart, for not treasuring you as you deserved, you beautiful broken work of miraculous art. I may not be the wisest, smartest, but damn, I'm still learning to love myself. Thank you.
Good evening, Poetry Perspective. This is Marty. The song I'm going to sing for you tonight is called Ruby's Arms. I will leave behind all of my clothes I wore when I was with you. All I need's my railroad boots and my leather jacket. As I say goodbye to Ruby's arms, although my heart is breaking, I'll steal away out through your blinds, for soon you will be waking. The morning light has washed your face, and everything is turning blue. Now, hold on to your pillowcase. There's nothing I can do now. say goodbye to Ruby's arms, you'll find another soldier. And I swear to God, by Christmas time, there'll be someone else to hold you. The only thing I'm taking is the scarf off of your clothes, and I hurry past your chest of drawers and your broken wind chimes as I say goodbye. I'll say goodbye. Say goodbye to Ruby's arms. I'll feel my way down the darkened hall and out into the morning. The hobos at the freight yards have kept their fires burning. So Jesus Christ, this goddamn rain, will someone put me on the train? I'll never kiss your lips again or break your heart as I say goodbye. I'll say goodbye. Say goodbye to Ruby's arms.
The working title of this is What Do I Look For in a Photo? We photograph light in order to reflect, and we choose our best light to create what we wish to remember. Who we have seen and the places we've been and the things that we have done. Holding a microphone, a book, a guitar, waving arms, waving drumsticks. Whispering, shouting, singing, grinning. Look closer. See their story. The artist connecting directly with their audience. Animated, aping the anger of some fool, high on irony and exaggerated sigh, the how-come gesture of a world gone weird. Grinning at a situation spinning out of control, finding the funny in stuff gone wrong. The joy in the eyes of telling a tale they share with their best friend, who is the entire crowd. The artist performing a lifetime's work, drawing you into their intimate space made perfect by 1,000 rehearsals, head lifted, half-closed eyes as the guitar sighs with contentment. and the singer, pausing after a big note, silently sighs as well. Going where the music takes them, the bass reveals how they feel, and the body too, the wild dance with the double bass that finishes with an intimate embrace. The poetry and the picture of an artist reading, the face on the page, the concentration of an artist getting their lines just right, the uplifted hand as an accent highlighting rhythm and intensity, the respect shown for words by a mouth conscientiously enunciating words, the look into the audience as the eyes leave the page to engage the listener even more. Have you ever photographed love? The intimate listener spellbound by words, or the band member looking on as a soloist is truly admired, or the artist who loves the audience so much it's written on them as they perform. But the photo of a celebration of art is truly one to treasure. The head back, fist raised in triumph, the laughter of a shared moment with someone in the crowd. Two musicians exchanging smiles of well done after a favourite song. The group photo after a gig. So many different things happening when a crowd is all doing the same thing. Laughing faces, reflective faces, even some serious ones. The faces facing each other, the hooray faces, the faces facing each other, the so glad I'm here faces, every one of them a pleasure to know. This is why I take photos.
The Frog Apocalypse by Waffle, Irongirl. This poem was written in 2018 and is after Melinda Smith's far superior poem, The Sausage Dog Apocalypse. That poem appears in Melinda Smith's anthology, Goodbye, Cruel. It will happen, not far from here. All the tiny green frogs in my carefully cultivated garden will rise up, and with one mighty croak go silent forever. And instead, they will form a picket line by the chrysanthemums, demanding cat food. And the anthill under the drain cover will finally reach the light. Years of secret building, and the season of drought is their time to rise. And angry men with toast crumbs in their beards will throw the doors open, march through our study in their steel-capped boots, flipping the bird as they pass our family photographs. And the world's consortium of geckos will stop amusing babies with their chirrups, and with perfectly formed vowels chant anti-capitalist slogans in unison. And children, stricken by the most recent pandemic, will storm hospital wards in search of a tapestry made of beer bottle tops. And beekeepers everywhere will set fire to their hives. Honey will adhere like tar to the inside of every eyelid, and we will sleep in burnt caramel dreams. And despite being unable to see through sticky eyelids or hear through ears choked in pollen, I will appreciate my proper weightlessness and insignificance. Stop hogging space on the couch. Send the can of tomatoes crashing through the television screen and joining the frogs in solidarity, I will recover the perfect pen behind the chrysanthemums, the one I lost the day Anthony Bourdain died. When I realize I will never write anything worthwhile because nothing before today is ever worthwhile. And then I will write a poem crowded in its solitude and impossible to recite quietly enough to express its lack of importance. The perfect poem. Thank you. I was honored to have The Frog Apocalypse appear in this booklet, the Wurla Poetry Prize 2019, that was judged by the inimitable Nathan Kernow. I share space in the booklet alongside the excellent poem The Death of Whales by Cameron Semmens. The Death of Whales. There is a whale on the beach. Its huge, dark bulk looms over sand and seaweed. Far behind the whale's self-crushing weight, buoyant waves are a white lace on the hem of the ocean. A fin quivers, an eyeball rolls, and from the blowhole a feeble puffed. There is no song here, only the whispered conspiring of wind and the scorching argument of sun. Meanwhile, as I stand on the sand, there is only one prayer I want to pray, but I cannot pray it. I can hardly even say it. It's so pathetic and basic. What I want is this: my wife to love me. But what can I pray? God, make my wife love me? The whale lurches. A seagull jumps to flight from the dorsal fin. What sort of God would do that? I want her to choose me. I just want my wife to love me. And I suppose I just want my God to save me. But I am caught between wave and cliff. I want to pray, but I cannot pray to a God that would make my wife love me, that would demand I pray to be saved. I can't do it. The vast black wall of the whale's flank is drying in patches. Flies are arriving. I just want my wife to love me. I just want my God to save me. Manic, repetitive thoughts start scrawling themselves in chalk all over the slate-skinned whale again and again and again. I just want my wife to love me. I just want my God to save me. A desperate graffiti that's making a mess of me. Outside of the water's supportive embrace, this whale cannot survive much longer. What a crutch the water is. And in that moment, something gives. A last breath. A slow death rattle. My marriage, my God, the whale, all dead on the beach, a huge stinking carcass of losses. And I can already see the future, when the flesh of experience is picked off, scavenged of meaning, or simply left to rot, until all that remains is the muddled skeletal memory of a permanently silenced melody.
glad to be here. This poem is called I Am the Snail. I am the snail. I am the slime-covered hovercraft of nature's scrap heap. My teeth are chainsaws, shearing away the armoured hulls of my opponents, leaving nothing but steaming bloody husks behind. Were I reborn a snail, I would glide around my stylish one-bedroom apartment, rubbing my lubricated eye stalks all over the furniture, staring into the mirror in a state of mute incomprehension, breathing heavily through a mouth of rubber, staring at the concealed cameras hidden behind those government flunkies, they watch my progress, nervous in their cheap suits, sipping Lipton tea with milk, a fascist drink, that's for sure. I glide up the bloody walls, shivering with pleasure, coated in a layer of my own slime, and completely self-satisfied I am a natural philosopher. This is not the fantasy of a modernist or an allegorical to be retold by the most boring person at any given dinner party. This is a slow, slow dream of spirals and unguarded cabbages. I make my way forward slowly, leaving behind a clear trail behind me like Theseus in the labyrinth. I will conquer the whole world given enough time, except maybe for France.
Greetings, poetry lovers. Lishy here. Hope you're having a really good time tonight. And isn't Colin a wonderful MC? But as you can see from the appearance of Alejandra the staff, it's feature time. And of course, I'm extremely enthusiastic about tonight's feature, and that being Sam Ferrante. When I first met Sam, it was at Slamma Ding Dong, and it was the first time I'd been there, and I only knew maybe two people. And she came over and chatted with me and was really lovely and made me feel so welcome. And I've just adored the woman ever since. And of course, I've read her poems, which are bloody wonderful. So, here's a little bit about Sam Ferrante, the woman herself. Sam Ferrante is a queer poet and editor who just completed her MFA in poetry at Butler University in Indianapolis. Originally from Long Island, New York, she has been lucky enough to have featured with La Mama Poetica, Melbourne Spoken Word, Passionate Tongues, and a couple of other spots. Her work has appeared in Foundlings, Ghost City Review, Turnpike, Blowing Raspberries, and elsewhere. She is currently the poetry co-editor at Booth, and Mrs. Melbourne and Cafe 666 heaps. And we miss you too, Sam. Hopefully you will be able to come back to Australia and delight us in person again one day. But now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the fine words of Sam Ferrante.
My mouth is a man's. Each tooth claimed by some pen mark on an x-ray. Each bump on my tongue staked by some straight talk and surgical confidence, signed by some John Hancock flourish of possession. They broke my jaw a decade ago. It was growing wrong. My teeth would not meet, and a crack team of slick-haired interns broke and reset me. There has always been too much idiom in my nuance, too much certainty in my diction, too much self-preservation in my gut to vomit up any unpolished stone. I warned the nurse before I went in. My throat is barbed in stressed syllables, studded in spondees, supine, contract, consort, sidewalk. I'm sorry. My uvula is a pugilist practice bag. Heavy and ready to take hit after hit, my mouth is a man's, miss. My stomach? My stomach is a sea of glass. Shattered bits roil and crunch, heaving femme and desperate for soft feet. Oh, stomach of dangerous waters, corrosive and brilliant, slick with oil and shredding fibers. Oh, Molotov, you useless, broken bottle, you turbulent, wine-dark sea, you corked and tamed thing. You see it, right, miss? I need to know that you can see what I've swallowed. Here, put all your fingers in my mouth. Pull at the corners. I'll open wide. Thank you so much. Y'all come back now. Thank you. Whew. $3? Call me. 317-362-3098. I crumple the number in one fist and let each digit fall away like the blueberry scone bits to the bottom of the trash bin, like the last flakes of my sex appeal. Like my early 20s, like every hot boy mistaking my body for fuckable, like mismatched morning lingerie, like lingering fingertips, like old catcalls in new cities, like invasion, like invitation, like didn't I want this? Like didn't I demand to be taken seriously? I crumple like if someone isn't trying to touch my backbone, do I have one at all? Like is it worth it to be heard and unseen? I crumple like coming down, like falling, like feeling the weight of my body for the first time, no arms behind my knees, no palm on my head, no slip knots, no moisture, no friction, no ease, no red marks, no bruising, no teeth, no mystery hairs, just apron strings and a $3 tip. Sorry about that. Welcome to the wreck. Sit down. Have a drink. Cozy? Comfy? You look fucking great, let me tell you. Oh, here. Your bra strap is showing. I have taped so many tits together. I can find a nipple through 2 sweaters blindfolded. I've been toting size 14 pumps, pinning wigs, angling Beyonce fans, and demurely J-setting in the back row since I came into myself at 17. I didn't play black horse rugby or brunch with lesbians until many years later. I learned to be a woman from black men in fishnets and pudding balloon-weighted bras, and to be honest, I did it wrong for a long time. There is a confidence that men are gifted that makes them uniquely suited for long ponies and death drops. Novice drag kings have a steeper learning curve. Waddling around their tube sock bulges and thumbing at their noses, eyeliner chest hairs peeking out of bound breasts. Tragic, really. And they were. Grace was biceps and white twinks leashed by black queens in leather. There is no seductive salvation for a slim, thick white girl with a goatee. You miss all the shots you don't take, and I was usually the DD, willingly. Now, when I walk down Mass Ave and see pride flags on top of dog bakery signs, flying high over nitro ice cream shops, and etched into little delicate macaron tops, I cackle contralto enough to alarm the straight folks visiting for the afternoon. The street is trying so hard to see me, and I can't help but feel a little like I'm back in the wings, poised to dash after dollars. My queens never had time to collect themselves. That is, I did, until that broad-shouldered blonde stepped onto the sidewalk and offered me a smoke and a wink. Everybody hates their mother a little bit. But who would I have become without that first man pulling me on stage whispering, "Get it, girl. Go get yours." Who would I have become indeed? Here, you mind if I sit with y'all? It really did all start backstage with those queens, the originals. That's what we called ourselves. Had t-shirts made up and everything. God, my 20s were wild. Well, you remember? Chain smoking outside The Owl and the Cat, and up half the night? Not now. Now, my body's a map. My body is a map, gray and soft. Not soft like the poets talk about prepubescent girls, not soft like supple, like Beatrice, like Caroline Kennedy, not soft like pure, not like silk drawn through large hands, not soft like delicate, buckled fawn legs, soft, not soft like fur, soft like age, soft like sedentary, soft like hardy, soft like a preference for terry cloth, heavy comforters, soft like the Midwest, soft like wings instead of triceps, soft like a public school secretary like Sapphic, soft like a reckless youth left behind across state lines, soft like pinprick hand bones and too much skin. My body is a map that has not been read in a while. My body is a map covered in coffee stains and very old pinholes. My body is a map I try not to open. I, map, only fall open after midnight. My body is a map I borrowed once. I am a map to nowhere. My body is a map, but I don't drive anymore. My body is a map I keep, just in case. Just in case. Different year, different pace. Ugh. I have stories, if you got the time. You wanna? You wanna hear something crazy? Every night on the porch we speak of the discomfort of handcuffs, the preference for leather shackles, the timely need for nipple piercings before I turn 30, a knowledge of knots. I know slips, he knows rigging. I giggle at his suggestion of a BDSM tackle box, a Midwestern attaché case, hardware he won't order, his red, my yellow. We argue about chastity belts, the cruelty in withholding during an act of charity. We debate the efficacy of erotica versus Tumblr gift sets, sexy mobile RPGs against DeviantArt accounts. I pretend to agree on the importance of boundaries, of teas. We discuss until I'm not wet anymore. My lips slow, breath returns to vanilla, to wine, then sours. Dusty until I brush my teeth. Minty and clean. I turn left at the top of the stairs and he turns right. He stands in his doorway and I knock, an elbow against his before I close my own door. We are nearly asleep. He is terrified of touch. So am I. We'll start again in different states, we promise. We'll use our bodies next year, maybe, safely, apart. Anyway, I was talking to this femme the other day, and I thought to myself, ugh, I should not make you a plant, but I don't know how else to eat you. I expect an eating disorder, sex trauma, a trip to the psych ward, suicidal ideation. I expect what I expect, someone else, someone close to you hurt you, frayed roots, bowed stem, a slight wobble near your top leaves. I never worry about my body on a sidewalk anymore. I don't live in concrete cracks. I've repotted myself indoors. I swallow every femme in the city, the country. Certainly, I cannot stop that car from pulling in front of you. I cannot stop the man getting out. I cannot stop what happens next. I cannot stop what has already happened, and I cannot stop what happens next. He is in maximum security now. Has been for nearly a year, I'm sure. In a few weeks, I will think about how much violence he will be made to eat in prison. How many more people he will be made to hurt inside. How hurt inside he was, he will be. But for now, I cannot bear to touch you. And even if I could, when has contact ever been good to us? We can do nothing but witness each other's leaves, the curves of our stems, the reaching. I can do nothing again but bury myself next to you, a few inches, unbending, and hope that you'll continue to grow up. God, I finally reached that age. Maybe, or maybe you don't yet, but I finally reached that age where everybody either feels like my kid, my mother, or a lover. Sad shit, but also, how lucky is anyone to have gotten this far, you know? And I am lucky. You mind if I smoke? I'm gonna smoke. My grandmother is a wasp. She lies about her year of birth, which is to say, she smiles a little when she announces that it is improper to ask a woman's age as we stick candles into cake. She has done this since forever, so much shorter than her 2 olives, bone dry forever. My mother says Grandma finds herself now circling the story of the mother cow who wouldn't leave the farmer alone until he followed the mother cow over a mile away to a ditch. Her calf had gotten itself stuck. My wasp grandmother is so impressed with that mother cow. I can hear it over the phone in the question at the end of every decree. She gets like that, impressed, more easily now. She was reading that book, the one with the cow, on New Year's Eve before she went to sleep, before she woke up. One sock just a little akimbo and slipped on her way to the bathroom. I was not there. My mother circles her now, the way I used to, hand on her elbow. I can hear her 6 states away, unable to do anything. But lo, outside my window, an urgency I recognize in a language I no longer speak. Well, on that cheery note, I've got one more for you. One more yarn, one last fact, last call. I have never held a gun, but I remember his cowboy boots, belly over the belt, cargo-colored shirt, 10-gallon hat. I remember trying and failing to separate the ones from the fives, and losing my place over and over again. He pulled it from its holster, placed it on the bar top. My hands shot up like I was back in middle school, small and smart and quick and trembling like a rabbit. He laughed. But you know this. I imagined pushing a finger into the hole in my gut. Of course it would have been my gut. I imagined crumpling, calling my partner, or would it be my mother? I imagined the rag soaked in seconds, half a second. I imagined not being able to hold my blood in my own hands. I tried to think of the right words. Oh, honey, I'm just letting you know it's here. Just polite. But I knew what he wanted. I poured a rusty nail, pushed it across the wood into his steady hand. Thanks, Melbourne. Thanks for the bar top, and thanks for the drink. Have the best night, the best new year. Enjoy the rest of Poetryspective. Thank you so much, Lish, and have fun, everybody. Nice to see y'all.
Great stuff. Thanks, Sam. That was really great. Really enjoyed that. Absolutely rocking the leather jacket as well. Nice look. Excellent. Great. Let's move on to the open section.
Because this is Poetryspective, I'm going to do someone else's poem. I don't know much about anything about this poet except she's American, and I found this on a competition website and I liked it. It's called Migration Patterns by Melissa Stoddard. In the dream, I tell customs my llama is a goat, because sometimes the heart is not large enough to hold what is beautiful if the mind finds it exotic. Sometimes the mind mistakes itself for a hoarded piece of land, and little campfires spring up everywhere. Smoke slinks through chain link. Small hands and shoulders capsize beneath a dehydrated, salt-sick sun. In the dream, I carry mountains through international waters. I carry the hills, their babies, to safety. Sometimes I wave away a predator and there is fire in my hand, and my hand does not want to be part of a human body. It wants to belong to the llama, the goat, the hills, the mountain. In the dream, I've got the North Star in my trunk. I'm driving it across a border. I'm taking it to a different part of the sky. It can't stand what it has seen. What we need is not a fixed point. What we need is a world anthem that everyone knows the words to. One that says, come in, come on, come over, I've got you. In the dream, light leaks from thin cracks where the trunk door meets the body of the car. The star says, put me on the dashboard and I will guide you. The officer says, illegal. You can't take a star to another part of the sky. And I say, watch me. I say, I've got enough light to do anything.
Dusty street in Kolkata. A perfect day on the beach in Trinidad. The backyard at Grandma's place in rural Australia. A green park in an English village. From exclusive private schools to a parched outback town. A childhood dream is shared. Eyes are closed and they are transported. Momentarily, running in to bowl the first ball in front of 100,000 roaring fans at the MCG on Boxing Day. Raising their bat to the dressing room and the crowd after a majestic 100 at Lord's or the Oval. Smashing the ball out of the ground for the winning runs in the IPL final. Taking a screaming catch at Cape Town or at Hyderabad or Christchurch. But then they're back. As their friend unleashes another demon delivery with a taped up tennis ball. And all thoughts of heroes, of Sachin Tendulkar, the little master, of Dennis Lilly and Jeff Thompson, the spin mastery of Shane Warne and Matthias Muratharan, sublime batting of Virat Kohli, David Gower, Brian Lara must be cast aside as the tennis ball fizzes by, narrowly missing the trash can stumps. Whatever the place, whatever the weather, we don't need much to bring us together. A bat and a ball, and we'll be out all day. Well, at least until bad light ends play. Though some may consider this treason, to many, and me, cricket really is the reason for the season. This one's entitled A Melbourne Autumn Day. Dark autumn morning, so nice and snug to hug. Even Archie jumped up to make a pile. One dog on a 2 or 3 dog night. Should have gone the thickadoona sooner. Turn on the lamp, bedside, retinas fried. Drag ourselves out of bed and into the shower. Feet freezing on the cold tiles at this godforsaken hour. Outside, the sunrise is dirty mojito, grainy photo, early morning dog walk, keen bloke kayak fishing. The only thing biting is the wind. Migratory shorebirds departing, starting their long flight north to Siberia. Altona Esplanade, free from lycra-clad warriors, the grey hair and beer gut peloton gone. Peace at last from annoying shouted conversations. 10 grand bike collecting dust in the shed with a bag of cricket gear untouched for years. An extra hour in bed. Long-suffering wife feigns appreciation, but secretly misses her lost hour of blissful heaven. His ride these days is a shiny new Mustang. Midlife crisis, his friends say. 5-litre engine, penis extension. He laughs along. Truth is, he can afford the beast. At least, now their kids have gone away. 4 seasons in one day, they say. But right now, in summary, it's wintry. The waters of the bay just the other day, so inviting. But now my body screams, screwed that. Prefer a chat and a cappuccino. And so to salt and pepper we go. Footy's back, 2 weeks in, Bulldogs win. How's your tips? Shithouse, mate. But don't panic. Life's manic, like this poem, in a good way. No rest for the wicked. Cricket finished. Sheffield Shield won again by the Vicks. Crowd of 6 old men and 2 shivering dogs. I can't complain. Last winter spent in the States. -20, polar vortex fast, slipped on my arse in hotel car park, in the dark at 5 a.m. and spilled shit coffee, brown skid marks stain in virgin white snow, so had a hissy fit that no one saw. Nice. Ice, crystals forming in my nose and frozen fingers, toes. Maybe I'm just getting old. Your shorts and thongs make me feel cold. And so we get to Sunday night. Another pile of Archie, Alex, me, a glass of red, a roaring fire. Far better than TV.
We watched Roadrunner on VHS. You told me you were on the pill. Your shoulders were so warm. Your boyfriend was an architect, or was going to be. Your nana's bath had orange tiles. You told me I was beautiful. I didn't think beautiful was something men could be. Your voice always curled upwards. You liked jazz and horror movies and Roadrunner cartoons. You said he threw plates at you. I didn't know what to do. We just rewound the VHS. We watched Roadrunner cartoons. Your hair ran over me like water. Did you kiss me? Or did I kiss you?
And here we are once again at the end of another Poetryspective, and at the end of a pretty interesting year. Some may say shit. Personally, I found it great. I think it's really highlighted what an amazing creative community we've got in Melbourne, in our poetry scene. People really embraced the video formats, both with Poetryspective and some of the other events organised by Melbourne Spoken Word and various other events around. I think the creativity just got better and better as the year went on. I think it's been really great, and it's been such a success, and that's why we're continuing with this monthly show. We will be taking video submissions again for the next show, date TBC. Our next live show at Pride will be on the 12th of January. And at that, we can announce the features now. We've got Cameron Logan, who has been one of our regular contributors to the video show. Really looking forward to seeing him perform his feature live on stage. It should be really great. Really enjoyed seeing him for the first time in Pride just back before Christmas, so that was good. And we've also got a retrospective performance from the wonderful Steve Smart. So there's something to look forward to there as well. Okay, thank you everyone for your submissions. Thanks Sam for your great feature, really good. Looking forward to seeing you all again, as many of you as possible anyway, in person back at Pride on January the 12th. I'm planning to be there. So this is Colin signing out for 2020. Let's hope 2021 brings everything you can dream of, and perhaps not so much.